You read the sins of men, and I'll read the sins of women, and then we'll react. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So I'll start with sins of women. The first, and again, in the context of marriage, these are tendencies. These are like just natural tendencies, sin nature, natural reactions, sometimes that are not the most helpful. This has been studied. This has been written about, and you can agree or disagree just generally as you listen. But the first sin of women, like a pitfall, that's another way to say it. A pitfall that women fall into in marriage is disrespecting their husband.
Yeah. And
this book talks about, no, the Bible teaches us to respect unconditionally. That's a tall order. So what do you think about that sin of women?
Well, I was listening to this chapter because I had a feeling you were going to bring this up. This guy was saying, if you're in a marriage where your husband's not a Christ follower and there's things that he's doing that aren't respectable, well, then you got to respect the office. Respect him as the leader of your home. God placed him there, so you got to respect his office.
Yeah.
And the Lord will bless that and honor that.
It's like you're going to agree or disagree with the president of the United States,
Correct.
But there's a respect to the office
Yep.
of president of the United States. That's great. Okay, do you want to do the first man one?
Yes. The first pitfall or sins of men is abdication, where the man is head whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
That's on you.
So abdication is saying, it's not my fault. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
That's her deal. That's my kid's fault. And I agree with this as a natural pitfall that men fall into. They do not want to take the blame. But part of becoming a man, becoming a husband, becoming a father, you are the head of your home, and it is your fault whether it's your fault or not. Whoo! That is true. And you have to learn how to own it. If there is something out of order in your family or in your marriage, even if it's not your fault, it's your fault. Wow. Meaning, it's your responsibility. How are you going to lead your marriage and your family through this is out of order, and it's on me to solve it. I am not going to allow it to continue this way. I'm changing course, changing direction, changing conversation. I'm correcting. I'm discipling. I'm disciplining children. I'm saying this is who we are. This is who we're not. And you don't, as the husband and as the father, you don't have any room to blame it on somebody else. Do not abdicate your role. And here's the Christ-like principle. Jesus took your sin on his shoulders. It was not his fault. And he's the head of the church. It was not his fault. He was perfect. And he took it all on himself to the point of death. And you are to be to your wife and to your family like Christ. It is on you, dog.
That's good. And I would add to that, it takes a teachable wife to submit to that. We're changing course. We're doing this different. It takes someone who can follow.
Yep.
That's strong leadership.
Yeah, it's true. All right, the next one, there's a lot of these. So pitfall of women, sins of women, I'll read it. Resentment.
Yeah, great.
So resentment. I'm starting to resent my husband because, you said something to me today, actually. You're like, hey, can I just tell you something? I really don't like when you hang up your towel on this doorknob. And I was like, okay. I'm bringing that up to say,
if I don't tell you that, I'm going to start resenting you.
Okay, so talk about it. Talk about resentment.
Well, I think that's all I have to say. If I'm going to let that just sit, every time I see your towel there, I'm going to just be annoyed at you and go, why does he hang his towel on this tiny little knob that is not meant for towels?
What's your role?
And I'm going to start.
What's your role, even if you communicate it and I don't change, and it just happens again and again and again? What's your role?
I would kindly bring it up again with the right tone and the right words.
Mhm.
And then I would pray and I would just ask the Holy Spirit to change something in you.
Yeah, you wouldn't choose time and time again to go, okay, now I'm allowed to resent him.
And also I would go, you know what? This is pretty trivial. I can move the towel.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
not
also
that,
that's
not
also
that, not
part
that
of
it
it.
would be your joy to do that. But
But I could walk a few feet and hang it up in a different spot.
part of resentment is you need to be ready to forgive at all times.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
My
and some
4 feet of walking extra is not worth growing resentment towards you.
But some marriages, some things are really big deals.
Yeah.
And that goes back to
Then you got to
just
get on your knees.
What did Christ do for you when your sin deserved death?
Yeah.
It's like forgiveness, 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 grace, grace, and the Holy Spirit will give you the ability.
Yeah. We've had conversations with people about you're talking the ultimate, in a marriage is like an affair. And you and Logan have very interesting perspectives on forgiveness in a marriage when it comes to like the highest level of,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's just God forgave us. That's the highest level.
Yeah, there are some Christians that say, if you ever cheat on me, I'm out because the Bible makes it permissible.
The Bible says I can.
But not everything that's permissible is beneficial. The Bible also says that. And I think divorce is cutting you in half. And I think to an extent it's child abuse. So we don't need to talk about divorce, but I think it is horrible. But there are also situations where that decision does have biblical grounds.
And we've seen marriages in our church be redeemed because they chose to forgive the highest offense, and God can do that.
And part of my response in that conversation is, as the head of the house, here's what I say.
Yeah.
If you ever did the unthinkable against me, I'm staying with you no matter what. I don't have any insecurity in telling you that. I don't think that you're going to use that as freedom to now go sin. The Bible talks about this. This kind of love is the unconditional love of Christ. And if you go off and do something that you should not do, guess what? I'm going to forgive you. I'm just committed. I'm going to forgive you. I don't care how hard it is, how difficult, and it's going to change the dynamic of our marriage, all this, and this is never going to happen. But it's like, I don't feel the insecurity to say, like, I'm not giving you any breathing room to think that you could do this. No. I'm going to die and die again and die again and die again and crucify my flesh and my desire for revenge or unforgiveness or bitterness or my biblical out or anything like that. Whether you like it or not, you have me the rest of your life. And I think that's the love of Jesus.
It's amazing.
Okay. Do you want to read the next one?
What is it? Spirit of accusation. Wait, we need to do a guy's one?
Yeah. You read the guy's one.
Oh, infidelity.
Yep. So that's kind of what we just talked about.
There you go.
The third sin of men, or pitfall of men, is the way that men are wired as more visual. They deal with the temptations of looking at things they shouldn't, and that grows. Your virtue level, if it goes down, the ability to turn your eyes, and we even say this, like I just said it the other day. There are things that I see, whether it's on TV or out in public, or that
we just saw a woman in real life the other day with a little bit too much side boob, and you go, "Hey, I just want you to know I saw that, but I looked away, and I want you to know that I saw that, and I did nothing with it."
Yeah, exactly. We're living in this world, but the pitfall of guys is that grows.
Yeah.
And I lived impure in high school, and I know the pitfalls and the dangers, and that it's just the path that leads to death. The Lord set me free, actually something that I prayed for a long time. He set me free and gave me you, and our marriage is good. But lust grows into infidelity. You don't just accidentally sleep with somebody. You don't just accidentally get into an inappropriate relationship. It's something that starts very small and it grows, and that is a pitfall or a sin of men. And there's zero excuse for it. All right, I'll read the next sin of women. Sin of women, spirit of accusation. The spirit of accusation that it is your fault. It is your issue. Do you want to say anything or comment on that?
I just think back to how, I think I've said this a few times in last episode too. You just have to stay teachable. You have to be able to be corrected. You have to be able to look and go, that's on me. And be okay saying that, because you can point the fingers. Okay, maybe, I don't know if this makes sense. Yesterday, Adley was baking and she took the bread out of the pan way too fast and it like kind of crumbled everywhere and she was very upset about it. So I said, well, what did the directions say? She said, well, the directions didn't say anything. So I got the box out and I read to her. I said, you're supposed to let it sit for 45 minutes. And she was like, that's so dumb. That's the dumbest instructions ever. And I was like, well, no, it's not, because it works that way.
Yeah.
And so I said, it was a teachable moment. It's not the directions' fault. Whoever created these directions, it's not their fault. It's your fault because you didn't read it.
Yeah.
And you just got to own that.
That's so interesting. That is the spirit of accusation. Is
she blamed the directions?
It's
not that.
It's their fault.
Yeah.
It's not Betty Crocker's fault.
Right. You didn't read it.
Yeah.
And so take ownership. This is my fault. I'm bummed about this, but next time I'm going to get it right.
Yeah, and secretly, I would say to the husbands, it's your fault because you're the head. So I don't think the wife should carry the spirit of accusation, but I also think the husband should always take ownership of what happens in their relationship and home.
That's nice. But.
So, yep. Next one for men, I'll just read this just to move a little faster, is harsh bitterness. Sometimes men have this tendency to react, especially when they feel accused, to react in harsh bitterness.
You did not do that this morning when I told you that it bugged me where you put your towel. You just said, okay. I could have made you feel accused, and you could have.
I could have lashed out at you.
You could have.
And I think that, there was an example where I felt accused by you early in marriage on something kind of small, and I did react like not.
We were engaged. We weren't even married yet.
Okay. I don't think I yelled, but I definitely increased my intensity.
You raised your
back
voice.
at you.
Yeah.
And that scared you half to death. I mean, you started crying immediately.
Yeah.
And I realized, holy smokes, what I felt like was just increasing the level of intensity almost broke my soon-to-be wife. I have to watch out for how I respond, knowing that she can't take the heat that I would be. I was in trouble my whole life. So I've had coaches yell at me. I've had intensity from my dad, which I deserved. And I felt like you were accusing me. It wasn't your intention, but you were kind of poking at something that was sore. It was a sore spot for me. And I responded.
Yep. I had the spirit of accusation.
With harsh bitterness. I don't actually think you did, but I responded the wrong way. And guys, you got to watch out for that. Next one for women is little helper syndrome. Do you understand that one, hon? That is like, I'm gonna nag my husband. Yep. I'm going to I'm gonna be on him to change him. I'm gonna be on him to change him. Right? Remember, what are you doing with that? Why are you getting ice cream out? What are you doing? What's going on? You don't need to be. Mm-hmm. And it's just peppering with
There's
little
a
helpers.
Between a helpmate and being a nagging wife, there's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. You don't struggle with this, so it's not, you don't nag me at all. I don't feel that.
I mean, like like I said, if you were going to leave the towel there, I would probably say it one more time and then I would just go pray about it.
Go pray about it. Great. Blockheadedness is the next one for guys, pitfall. To be blockheaded, knowledge and intelligence can't say, I didn't know she felt that way. Okay, so I just, because I wrote a couple notes there. Guys, you can't be a blockhead. I kind of like just say that. Guys, you don't have the right to be a blockhead. To go, well, I didn't know she felt that way. I didn't know that hurt her feelings. Or, I didn't know that she was like, no, dude, you're the leader. Be aware. Don't be a blockhead. Don't, and that's an abdication thing. Is saying, it's not my fault. It's not my fault that she's fragile. No, dude, she's a treasure. And you have to treasure the treasure, man. You don't get to be a blockhead. It's your fault. I just love talking to guys that way because I receive it. The same measuring stick myself.
Talk to our boys.
It's your fault, dude. You don't get to say I didn't know. You're the leader, dude.
The compassion in me goes to like, well, but we also need to be communicating how we're feeling and not eating things, as women.
Agreed.
We also need to play our part.
But I think you can talk strongly to the men and then separately talk strongly to the women about communicate your expectations, communicate, that was our first Valentine's Day where I'm pretty sure I was like, what do you want to do? And you're like, I don't know.
I wanted you
And
to.
exactly. I was like, but please, I'll do anything for you, but please just say, like, what do you want? And you're like, I don't know. I have no expectations. And then I planned the day of to go to Olive Garden and to go to a movie or like to go
I gave you a restaurant idea, but you didn't make a reservation. And so you called the day of and they were booked. So we had to then go to Olive Garden.
Yeah, it was a huge loss. It was a huge fail, guys. It was just terrible.
And it was like 1 month after we'd been married.
But I don't get to say, I didn't know. No, I just have to own it and go, okay, now I understand expectation and how I can grow in that. And I think you separately could grow in.
I'm going to tell you what I want.
Like what you want, because I want to make you happy. Just tell me what you want. Like, please. And I'll do that.
Yeah.
But I know sometimes it's like, but I want him to just, and it's like, yes, we all want.
That's in the movies.
We all want perfection, guys.
That's in the movies.
Okay, next one for women is lack of sexual protection. I think it's a cool way to say it. Just the way guys are wired generally is, if you are meeting sexual need, that is a form of sexual protection.
You don't have a need to go outside of me if I'm protecting you.
Yeah, and I actually love telling.
If I'm meeting that need.
There are people out in the world that are like, really, you're married one woman that for the rest of your life? One? Like I've had conversations like that, and it's like, yep, my wife completely satisfies me. I don't need it. Like she's the bomb. There's nothing else I need outside of my wife, and it's the greatest thing, and it brings life. All you're screwing around, that good luck, dude. It's gonna rip your guts out, and it's gonna kill you. It's not. It's you're playing with fire, and yeah. Anyways, anything else you want to say on that?
No, I just think it's a good perspective to when the word protection, men and women have different sex drives. And definitely I do not need that as much as you do. And so sometimes it can feel like a chore, like I need to serve my husband. I don't want to do it. I'm tired. But when you think of it as I am protecting him from looking outside of me, that'll change your perspective real fast. Yeah, it's a beautiful way to look at it.
And the guy has to own. I don't get to walk around like it's a need. If there's a gap in that, or if it's like delayed based on my expectations or what I was hoping for or whatever in our community, I have to bring that to the Lord and go like, I don't get any excuse to then misuse my eyes, my ears, my body in any way because my wife, no, that's abdication again. And so, no, and we could talk about sex life a lot longer, but this is a family show. So I'm just kidding. Maybe next time. Next one for men is, and we're almost done here, poor provision. I think this is a big one. You actually have friends that divorced because the husband would watch his wife go to work every day and he would play video games. Adult.
While she thought he had a job.
Yeah, so there was lying going on.
There was lying going on, but he had no desire to work.
It is on the man to provide, to get after it. And we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Is poor provision. No, guy, it's not about how much money you make, but
No.
it is about your willingness to work hard to make ends meet, and you do not need much. That has to be said in today's world. Well, we got to do dual income. We got to do. No, sorry. You don't need much. You think you need. No, all of it's going to burn. You can sleep on the floor. It's not, I'm not saying that's somebody's desire, and I'm not saying that's enjoyable. I'm just saying you don't need much.
Correct.
I heard my mom told me about an immigrant family that attends their church here in the Twin Cities. And it's a husband and a wife with 4 children in a single bedroom apartment.
Wow.
And the husband and wife sleep on the hide-a-bed couch in the living room. And the 4 kids share the one bedroom, and they all share one bathroom. And every morning they fold up the hide-a-bed, they make the couch nice, they make the living room not look now like a bedroom because the day has started, and they live their life happy and together.
Yeah.
You don't need much. And I think that that's out there for some people, that there are couples that are suffering in their, well, I have to work full time and I have to do this thing and I have to, and I think it's worth some introspection that you're, $3,200 a month, or your $2,700 a month, or your $600 a month car payment, or that's
necessary.
That's luxury.
For sure.
And it's not about, like, Lord, strip away from me the need for things.
Yeah.
I don't need things. And guys, get after it and provide and make a way. And so
Love it.
number 6 for women is false submissiveness. Anything you want to say on that?
You don't have any notes on that. I don't know what this chapter is about.
It's submitting with an attitude.
Like false humility almost.
Yeah, it's like,
Okay.
Well, fine. Okay, fine. I submitted. And in your head going,
Well, but
he's a freaking idiot. This guy's a loser.
Yeah.
Why is he, and again, these are pitfalls or tendencies
Which is going to
that
cause
you can leak
disrespect,
into.
which is going to cause resentment, all these things.
Yeah, these all kind of build on
They're
each
all,
other.
yeah.
All right, last one for guys is laziness. We talked about it in poor provision. Yep. God made you to work hard 6 days and rest 1, not work hard 4 days and rest 3, not to be lazy. And, I go out and work all day, and then sometimes in the home, I choose to be lazy. And that's something that I need to work on, is to not work hard out in the world to provide for our family and then just take a load off. Like, how can I work a little bit harder in the home? So that's just something that I'm reflecting on in that. Like, I don't want to be lazy anywhere. I want to rest well, and I need rest, but I don't want to be lazy in the home. We have a hole in our wall. Should I just let that go? Roger fell through our wall. So, it's like, should I just let that go? Yeah, it's got tape over it, but that's not like a fix. So should we just let it go?
There's a desk over it. You can't see it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying generally.
I'm trying to make you feel better.
No, there are things that happen in the home that I just kind of go, we'll get to it someday. And then, but it's kind of a lazy attitude. So I'm working on that. Last one for women, and then we'll close out this podcast. Thank you for being here today, hon. You're amazing.
Thanks for making me.
Is the leaky faucet.
Leaky faucet.
This is continuing to air concerns. It's nagging a little bit.
It's the
constant pushing for her position.
Oh.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say that sounds like the the little helper syndrome.
Yeah, it's attached to that, but again, it might be the lack of submissiveness. It might be but it's like, it's if your husband leads you in one way, but you're just not accepting it, then you're like, constantly like the leaky faucet of like, well, you know, well, I knew this should have happened, or I should have, see what I'm saying? You know,
I totally did that when we were in Fargo. You drove to the wrong church. Remember?
yeah, it's a little embarrassing.
And on the
You're
way,
exposing me in front of thousands of
sorry.
people. No, I'm just kidding.
But on the way, I knew it. And then, because we were not going the right, in my head, I just knew we were not going the right.
You wanted to give it to me.
But then when we pulled up and you're like, this is not the right church. And I was like, I knew it. And I did that. Sorry.
No, it didn't make me feel bad.
Okay.
It made me feel bad that you were frustrated, but
Sorry.
no, it's okay.
I'm sorry I did that.
So that's the sins of men and women that comes from this book called Covenant Household. It's a short book. I would highly encourage everybody to read it if you're married.
I'm doing it on Audible.
Doug Wilson. It really is helpful. That the sins of men and women is just 2 of the chapters of the whole book, and I think it's awesome.